also loosen that. We need to take off that banner on the back. Ready for anchor up?
Ready.
Okay.
Which is kind of the last little island clusters in Mexico, just before getting into Belize. And a lot of it's uncharted, which is a little sketchy, and so you definitely want to make sure you have clear skies, no bad weather, that's for sure, just because we're cruising through and we're like going through 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water below the keel, and we got to a deep section, which is shown, but then uncharted just off to our starboard side was visible reef poking out of the water, essentially. We cruised right by it, we saw it, but it's just one of those things where you definitely have to have your eyesight out there looking around, just because the charts are not going to tell you much of anything. But we are going to swim around the little reef right now. We dropped in some sand and check it out. It's inside out.
Silly Willy. So that was freaky. That will sink ships.
Yes, that will.
That would sink ships for sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to mark it as an obstruction for others to watch out for.
It's like directly in front of the boat, yeah?
Directly in front of the boat. Yeah, that would sink ships. So glad we saw that.
This is where it's tricky, because this is all uncharted, and there's like a reef here and a reef here, and it doesn't really look like it, but man, there's just like a few pieces that are just sticking right up on the surface. So I'm just taking our time through here. It's a little nerve-wracking, especially when the sun doesn't really show much right now either. Woo!
How we doing, honey? I know the sun just came out. Now that we're almost out, this has been nuts. More to port?
A little more.
What do you see? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I think we're almost out of this maze.
is actually perfect. What a maze. So many uncharted little reefs that are, some of them come right up to the surface and they're not even marked whatsoever. We're in 20 feet. Well, once again, we've gotten really lucky.
Yeah.
We got outside of the reef to a good little place to anchor. We have no protection really, but we have nothing behind us either, and we've got a good anchor set in the sand, but we're not inside the reef system. So we have encountered a pretty big storm just anchored here, and we're just waiting it out. And had we gotten hit with this while we were inside, I don't know what we would have done. It would have been a nightmare because we had to see where we were going at every point.
There's nothing marked on the chart.
Yeah, it's nuts out right now. Good morning!
Good morning!
Got a fish already?
Yeah!
What is it?
A fish.
Okay.
It's our anniversary fish.
Yeah, babe, happy anniversary! 1 year. It looks like a little Dorado.
What?
I don't know. It's got a lot of color.
It is. Yahoo!
It is a little Dorado.
Oh, yeah!
It's a little baby Dorado. We gotta turn him back.
Oh, Dorado! He's a big one, too. Oh, don't go down. Oh, my God.
Everything okay on that side of the banner?
Yeah. Yeah. I see him. Ooh, this one's big.
Oh, thank you, ocean.
Ah.
Should I reel in that other line real quick?
No.
Okay. Should I put the brakes on the boat?
Shut up.
That's not nice.
I'm kidding, sorry. Very good. Oh,
Come on.
this is hard. With the speed the boat's going.
I don't know what to do. I could try and run downwind a little bit more.
Maybe.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. All right, we'll change our wind angle a little bit. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
This one is tiring.
Oh my God, my arm.
There we go. Reel. You're getting tired, honey. So are you.
I know.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
I don't want to lose him.
I know.
This is the hard part right here.
Yep.
Please.
Yep, I know. Reel. Go. Colorado. You want to take a photo?
No.
Oh my God. All right, babe. Well done.
Yeah.
You got them all the way in.
Anniversary dinner.
Anniversary dinner is gonna be.
Oh, okay. Can you move the road?
Dang, babe, you did good.
Yeah. Better than the first one I did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where do you put the meat? Oh, you have a thing.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Some things are better investments than others. And that vacuum bagger, that was one of them.
Very happy with that.
Yeah. Thank you, Dorado.
Thank you, Dorado. Well, I'm very pleased with the vacuum sealer because that means I can organize my fish products. and have it last a little bit longer. So we switched.
This is actually a relief because I wasn't sure that anything existed in the ocean other than barracuda. I was worried. And we caught 2 Dorados today.
2. We let
one
one
of them,
go.
Yeah, we let go.
A baby.
Yeah. And then we caught his dad, or at least a brother.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Thanks, Ocean.
So we are about 5 nautical miles from entering the reef cut to Ambergris Cay in Belize. We just left Mexico a couple days ago. But it's a little gnarly. There is not much information out there in our charts, both on Navionics and our Garmin. There is basically a huge section that is uncharted. We have a book, but it was published about 10, 15 years ago, and so the information's pretty vague. But we're going to be approaching Ambergris Cay in what they call San Pedro's Cut, and there's about a 300-foot gap that we can enter in the reef there, and then it quickly dog legs, and we have to change direction about 20 degrees or so to turn in and then head in. So they say only enter when the sun is high and the seas are low, so no wind. We've got 2 out of the 3 pretty good for us. We got low seas and no wind currently, hoping to stay that way, but we definitely have quite an overcast kind of day, so we're gonna really do our best to keep our eyes peeled, take it super slow in, and just avoid the coral as best that we can. And it's everywhere along this coast. It's the 2nd largest reef in the world, obviously, which is amazing to me that it's very uncharted.
Yeah. San Pedro Customs, San Pedro Customs. This is sailing vessel Evelias. It is a Sunday. San Pedro Customs is a sailing vessel of Evelias. Nada.
Not sure if you can tell, but those are the reef breaks there, and we have to go in here and turn in that way. Here we go. Are you getting any depth readings now?
Yes, 48, 47.
Okay. 318?
Yes.
Okay.
8 feet of water.
You got a wave right behind you.
That's okay. That's all right. Holding steady at 7.
Okay.
Nope, down to 6. Back to 7. We're back up to 8. Here's 355. And we're in 9 feet of water. This is perfect. Well, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well,
Like most things, it just ends up not being all that bad. Not that you don't need to be careful, but it wasn't that bad.
it's fine.
I mean, I wouldn't do it in a storm,
No.
but I wouldn't do a lot of things in a storm.
No. Thank goodness we just had just the perfect amount of sun, too.
Yeah.
Coming out just then.
Yeah. It is beautiful here, though. Cool. Passage beer
I'll go check on the anchor first.
and a passage nap.
I wonder what these fishing boats and charter boats are gonna do.
I know, probably own us.
Should I take my top off?
Yeah, that'd probably help.
Okay.
They'll slow down. They'll slow down for
They'll
sure.
slow down for sure.
Do that.
Join us next episode as we clear into customs and immigration on Ambergris Cay and start exploring the beautiful islands of Belize. We meet a lovely couple from Switzerland backpacking south and ask them to join us as crew on the boat for the next couple of weeks. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and consider even being our patron. God damn it, Warren. You don't do that kind of shit.
You can't cuss on the video.